every single person on earth, every single one of us can live a soul-led life that feels abundant. And when I mean abundant, is not necessarily money, but more like abundant in energy, abundant in meaning, in purpose, in magic. But now you might be asking, what exactly is a soul-led life? What's that? I've heard it, I've heard about it, I read about it, but I'm not really sure what that is. A soul-led life is a life where you are guided by your intuition, where you follow the whispers of your soul, where you consciously choose to transform and upgrade yourself. When you choose to expand yourself, self-actualize, and where you express, and this is really important, where you express your authentic self, your true nature, your soul essence. It is a life where you share your soul gifts, but where you understand that sharing your soul gifts and your higher purpose doesn't need to be like on a world scale. You understand that it starts with us, within us, inside our homes, in our local communities. You don't go straight to the world scale, because to be of the impact that the world needs, we need to be in our own power. And when we feel energized, when we feel joyful, when we feel calm, when we feel abundant, we then are able to make huge changes and shifts that starts within us, but then creates this ripple effect onto the people we have contact with. And then subsequently to the world. There is this ripple effect. It starts with you, and then in your home, with your family, and then with your friends, and then with the people you work with, and then with the person at your local grocery shop or post office, and your local community. It starts like that. Most people think, I want to make a change in the world. But the world is so big. Yes, there are people that have that capacity, like celebrities and influencers and politicians and things like that. They are known. So because they are known and they have a lot of visibility and ways of reaching a wider audience, their impact is wider. But we don't need to be a celebrity. We don't need to be an influencer or a politician or, anyone that has that kind of visibility to make a change in the world. Because the change starts with us and with the people we get in contact with. That's how we start impacting and inspiring and positively bringing a difference that then creates this ripple effect. But don't let the fact that you are not a celebrity or known to stop you from bringing that change into the world. And living a soul-led life, it's knowing, it's understanding that, the impact that the world needs starts with you. by being you and by committing to expand and grow yourself. You will know if you're living a soul-led life when your life feels spacious, when it feels fulfilling, when it feels easy and abundant, not only in wealth, but in energy and in love. You feel like you are surrendered by people that love you and that you love, and that you are filled with energy to, do things. You don't feel tired, you don't feel drained, you feel energetic. That's how you know that you're living a soul-led life. And living a soul-led life brings you a huge sense of trust. You trust not only in yourself, but in the process. Because you don't live in worry, you don't live in your mind. You are grounded. You are connected with your soul. That's another way of knowing that you're living a soul-led life. Now you might be wondering, if living a soul-led life is this attractive, if it's this enticing, what is actually holding us back from choosing to live a soul-led life? The main reason is because it is still engraved in our soul's DNA. The negative impact of the witch hunts. And let me explain why. When the patriarchy, and when I mean patriarchy, I mean it started with monarchy and churches. So that's what I mean with patriarchy. When the patriarchy was created and the world started to be ruled mainly by men and by the elite system, which was the monarchy, that's when women started to be excluded from the church. Women were also forced to lose their contact with their ancient knowledge in the forms of healing, wisdom, midwifery. They were forced to lose contact with that. And also, women were not allowed in positions of leadership and spiritual power. Whereas before we had priestesses, that stopped happening. That stopped happening in the church. We stopped having priests, not priestesses. Women were not allowed to go to school. And even after education was open to women, for example, in the medical field, women were not allowed to have higher positions. They were not allowed to become doctors. The highest position they could have was as nurses. They couldn't become surgeons or doctors. And what this great forgetting, which is the name that it's given, caused by the patriarchy, impacted as a collective, was to bring a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD, a lot of brainwashing. And today, we inherit this trauma from our ancestors. And we have forgotten our magic, our power, because the patriarchy felt women were a danger to them, that women were too powerful, too wise, too dangerous for the men. And this karmic trauma still impacts us today. And that's why I mean, it's not a conscious reason why we don't choose to live a soulmate life. We have a lot of shame and especially a lot of fear engraved in our DNAs, in our soul's imprinting, that we might not understand, but still impact us today. It impacts in our aspirations, because as women, we have little aspirations. We feel ashamed and sometimes even scared to say what we want, to ask for what we want. We serve others more than we ask for help, for instance. And we don't allow ourselves to dream big. We live in under this narrative that I should be, I should do, I should have, rather than I want to be, I want to have, I deserve to have. It impacts our mindset. A lot of us suffer from low confidence. We still, as a society, as women, we have this issue with body shaming. Women still struggle with self-confidence in their bodies, in their abilities, in their skills, and live with this imposter syndrome. When they do have everything, or when the things are going well, we still manage to make it not work because we don't feel deserving to have this magic, to have this power, to have the things going well for us. So we sabotage ourselves. This also impacts us today in our self-worth, because we feel our self-worth is attached to what we do, to what we have in terms of, how pretty and how our body looks and how busy we are. We attach this self-worth, this and the way we see other women based on what they have, how busy they are, or how busy we are on what we have, not what we are or who that person is. Not only that, by impacting our self-worth, we live our lives, and a lot of women do this, trying to please other people. We put our desires, our dreams on the back burner. As moms and wives, we put our children, our husbands' needs in front of our own. We people please to avoid conflict, to not being rejected, to not being burned at the stake. And especially, it still impacts our ability to trust We feel the need to compete with other women. We don't trust other women. We betray each other. We gossip about each other. We put them down instead of compliment, giving a compliment, giving a praise, pushing other women up, cheering them up. We do the opposite. We feel threatened, and so we gossip and we put them down. And we see that on social media all the time. All the time we see that. And this happens because as a collective, we suffer from the witch wound, where women called each other out during the witch trials to save themselves. They betrayed each other. They competed with each other. They couldn't trust each other. And we still have this wound very much alive within us. And so this whole great forgetting made us forget how magical, how powerful we already are. We have all the tools that we need already inside of us. And slowly but surely, as a collective, we are starting to remember, to remember who we are, to remember our magic. And we are starting to go back to our roots. And that's why we have been seeing a rise in women's circles, in yoga communities, in people, exploring herbalism and natural healing and doing Reiki, learning about Reiki, and more people being open to use divination tools such as crystals or oracle tarot cards, and being open about it, not hiding it as we've always done. But there's been a rise as a collective on that, and it's because we are being called to go back to our roots and to remember who we are. So, how do you live a soul-led life? How do you do that? So, in order to live a soul-led life, you start by creating space for silence and spending time with your soul every single day. That's really important. Start by committing to a daily soul practice that calls to you, that feels good to you. Start by holding a vision of what you want. What do you really desire in all areas of your life? What really calls to your soul and feels aligned with your soul? What do you really want that is not based on what society or family expects of you, or that you think you should want because everyone is going after the same? What do you really want? And hold that vision. Living a soul-led life also starts by choosing to release old beliefs, old behaviors, old stories that are no longer serving you. working on yourself, doing the inner work. Because remember, impacting the world starts with you, within you. The things that you struggle the most are normally the things that you're here to help other people with. But you can't help other people with it if you haven't learned the lesson, if you haven't healed yourself. So committing to healing yourself, to releasing these old narratives, understanding your triggers, understanding your traumas, your pains, your wounds, nurturing it, healing it, alchemizing the pain into power and lessons. That's the way of living a soul-led life. Also, dedicate time to find your tribe. We have it more easy now than our parents and grandparents had. We have social media. Now it's so easy to find our tribe. It doesn't need to be in all our local communities. It can be a Facebook group. It can be a membership that you join where there is this women's circle that meet every month and do moon rituals and, gather and just share things. Just find people that share the same values, the same love, the same passions as you, the same beliefs as you. And also embrace the cyclical living. Live in flow with the cycles of nature, with the cycles of life. Because life is not linear. We live in cycles, right? And we are not supposed to be tired and overwhelmed all the time. We are not born for that. We were not born to feel that we have nothing else to give. That we are drained and fed up with life. We are cyclical beings. We are one with nature, the same way animals and plants and the tides of the ocean, they vary, and we have the seasons. We too, as part of nature, have our own seasons, our own cycles, not only in age, not only as in being mature, but our own internal cycles as well. We expand and we contract. There are times that we feel growth and expansion, but there are other times that we go into a hibernation, that we go within. We have ebbs and flows, and living a soul-led life is honoring those ebbs and flows, is understanding that we all have ebbs and flows, and this is just the natural cycle of being a human and being one with nature. And that without our ebbs, there are no flows. So we need it to live in our cycles, to honor our cycles, to grow. Because we grow in flow when we transform our lives in rhythm with our bodies and nature. We don't need to be in this fast-paced life all the time, doing, going after everything, draining our energy, not feeling we don't have enough time because we want this perfect linear life where we go from A to B like that in a straight line. But life is not like that. Sometimes from going to A to B, you have to go in the roundabouts and choose other paths. But that's the nature. And it's understanding, living a soul-led life is understanding that by going slow, we are actually moving fast. There is always this feeling of, whenever we are starting a new year, that we have this clean slate, this fresh start, that we get to choose to have a different life. So why not making a commitment to have a more soul-led life? To commit to one daily practice that connects to your soul every day. A practice that will allow you, for instance, to work on yourself, to do some inner work, so you can become your authentic self. So you can live your authentic self to live a more authentic life, which is a soul-led life. Because being our authentic selves is being directly in connection with our soul essence. So if you're being your authentic self, you are living your soul essence. Therefore, you are living a soul-led life. So why not to choose that? Let's make 2023 the year we work on our soul expansion, on our own soul's growth, creating shifts and changes that are long-lasting. Not New Year's resolutions that you tick a list of things that you hope to achieve in the new year, but by the 14th of January, you give up. And by the end of the year, you probably accomplished one or two things. These are wishes that are not long-lasting. Living a soul-led life is choosing every single day to honor yourself, to honor your authentic self, to connect with your soul. And the shifts and the transformation that comes from choosing this every day, making this choice every day, is long-lasting and has the ripple effects. So let's make 2023 that choice. And if you want some help with it, I just created, I'm so excited. I just created an ebook, my first ebook, 200 pages. Yeah. Ebook on uncovering your authentic self. So in this ebook, I basically take you on these 3-step pathways, like 3 chapters, where you will explore your past self, you will explore your present self, and then you're going to envision your future self in order to uncover your authentic self. It's just, as I said, by living your authentic self, you are living your soul essence. Therefore, you're living a soul-led life. And so basically, these 3 chapters, I explain which each chapter is, but the work is not in reading, because I believe, yes, information is all good, and I'm all for it. Learning and information is all good, but it needs to be backed up by action, always. So basically, I give you the information, I give you what each chapter will help you with, but then I give you soul-searching inquiries for you to journal and reflect on. And it has pages to give you the space to journal. You don't need to do it all at once. You can dedicate, for instance, 3 months and do 1 soul inquiry, 1 journaling prompt a day. that will help you to make this commitment to a daily practice, for instance, right? So it's an ebook. Eventually, that's my plan. Eventually, I will sell the printed version. But for now, and to make the price really a non-brainer, is an ebook. So it's a digital download. You, as soon as you buy it, you get the link to downloads via email, and you just download it. You can write digitally if you have an iPad, if you have a phone or whatever. You can type it directly, or you can print it out. And you can print as you go. You don't need to print everything at once. You can print as you go, like, for instance, chapter 1 and then chapter 2 and then chapter 3. Only £4.99. That will help you to embark on this shift. It's a commitment. For a fiver, you are making a commitment to work on yourself, to live a soul-led life, to connect to your authentic self, your soul essence, and make the ripple effect in the world that you want to do. I will put the link in the description and in the comments. I haven't even announced it anywhere. So I'm so excited to announce this, and that you are the first to know about it. So I speak to you soon, and yeah, bye.